Yo, this is Alex Mouth of Destiny.
I'm Phil from Fitwell Exposed.
And today we're going to discuss what most of the elite naturals have in common. So I think you're really going to enjoy this discussion.
Yeah, so we always talk about elite lifters, and in my opinion, the number one thing that they all have in common is that they've been training for a solid decade or more. And when I say a solid decade, I'm not talking about, doing push-ups at home for 2 years. I'm talking about running an effective, strength and conditioning program that has been written by, a professional, and following it and staying consistent and not taking any years off for at least a decade,
Yeah, because many people, for example, they're going to start lifting when they're 13, or they'll do a few push-ups here and there, and they're not doing strenuous training. So if you add up the total amount of time they've been lifting, it comes out to about 10 years or so, but it's not the same as 10 years of actual, real training,
There's a difference between working out and training, so.
Yeah. So what we're saying is that if you have 10 years at least of serious lifting, running a properly written strength training program.
Without breaks, without a year off.
Full-on consistency for at least 10 years, that's when we see elite naturals pop up.
Yeah. Preferably it'd be 15, but it's 10 at the minimum.
Yeah, and I know some guys are like, whoa, 10 is a bit much, man. After your first 3 to 5 years, everything's taken care of. But trust me, my friends, you have a lot more potential than you think. And if you actually push it for long enough, you will see where you lie. And if we look at elite naturals who do exist, like Twisting Nether, Eric Bugenhagen,
Mike the
Machine Bruce, J.J. Anderson, Bud Jeffries, all these men have been training for more than a decade.
Yeah.
What we find is that the longer you train as a natural, well, you get stronger.
Yeah.
Now, the size thing, you might not see significant differences in size after 10 years, but your potential continues to climb, right? And when we look at elite naturals, the ones with the best physiques, they've been consistent for a very long period of time, sometimes their entire life.
Yeah. And I'm going to cut you off right there. I know a lot of people watching this video are thinking, wow, 10 years, that's a very long time. But you guys have been watching a lot of, drugged up YouTubers and overnight celebrities. And when you're natural, this is actually how it works. You need patience, you need perseverance, you need passion, you need dedication. You need all these things wrapped up in one, and it's going to take a long time. It's not some overnight success,
Yeah. And I've been training for a long time, man, and even at my level, I'm still getting even more results. And I can only imagine by the time I'm 40 years old, where will I be at 40?
It's a wrap,
it's going to be crazy. So, problem is, guys don't give themselves enough credit, and they don't train for long enough to see the results and reap the rewards. What we're telling you is that if you train for at least a decade, first of all, you will understand your body, right? You will know how to train yourself to perfection. You will understand things that you're going to be like, fuck, I wish I started this when I was younger. You'll be able to help out others with your vast amount of knowledge and wisdom, and you're just going to be, so jacked and so strong. But you have to give it the time. Now, again, we're not saying you need to be training for 10 years to be jacked. Obviously, you can do it in, 2 to 5 years. We're just saying that the elite naturals, what they all have in common, the best ones, the ones giving amazing advice, the ones who look the best, the ones who are the strongest, they have a lot of experience. They've been training for over a decade. And when you see guys that are 2 decades, say they started lifting when they were 20, and now they're 40, the results is absolutely insane. And the wisdom that you can acquire from these men is ridiculous. So,
and I'll take it one step further. Even the guys who've been training, 15, 20 years, don't think they have it all figured out either,
Yeah, they're still learning.
Every time you reach a certain, goal for training, let's say you reached, you're benching 275 and you want to reach 315. Now you're at 315. And then let's say in the future, you're 365, you want to get to 405. You have to take a completely different approach,
Exactly.
You're not going to take the approach you took to get from 275 to 315.
Yeah, training...
It always changes, it's not like you can't use the same tactics, Some tactics will only help you get so far, and then it's hey, you have to pretty much learn something new,
Yeah, so if you're, for example, if you're an amateur powerlifter, what you did to reach that total is not what you'll be doing to hit the next total.
No.
It'll be completely different, and you will probably acquire new weaknesses, and the longer you lift, the more you're going to learn about these differences, right? But trust me, man, if you think that after 3 years you're tapped out, bro, you got another thing coming. You got a beautiful transformation waiting ahead for you. You just got to ride the goddamn road, get in your car, start driving. You're going to see 10, 20 years from now, you'll learn some things, and you'll see for yourself. And that's what real naturals have in common. They have solid experience.
Okay, this brings us on to the next point. It's experimentation and creativity. If you look at the most elite naturals, at least most of them, one common thing that you see is that they were very creative. And they took very unconventional approaches to reach the desired result, you know, to get bigger and to get stronger. So some examples, Bud Jeffries, he's probably the king of unconventional lifts, you know, king of partials. You take Mike the Machine, you know, he's been doing behind the back deadlifts and just all these awkward lifts since like day one, you know. You got Eric Bugenhagen, JJ Anderson, the list goes on. You know, all these guys are not really focused on the big three for the most part. You know, they're doing some very awkward and underground barbell lifts for the most part, and they're experimenting day by day. You know, they've had a lot of fails. You know, they've tried some stuff that really didn't work, but they found a lot of great stuff.
In other words, they could think outside of the herd. They're not sheep. They're not blinded by the dogma that exists in the fitness community, whether it be the powerlifting, bodybuilding community, whatever. They do things on their own agenda. Mm-hmm. And even when we look at bodybuilders, we got guys like John Meadows, who did something different. Even though, you know, he used other things too. We can still learn from him, you know. But the point is, elite naturals, what we tend to see is that they think differently from the average person. And that is to be expected. When you have someone who is elite, the 1%, the best of the best, you think they're going to think like the herd? Absolutely not. To be great, you have to think outside of the norm. That's what it's all about. You have to be creative. Yeah, even also, the best strength coaches, they did things that no one ever thought about, and it became this revolutionary system.
And somebody has to try out these unconventional lifts, and it just happened to be them, and they just happen to be some of the strongest drug-free lifters, you know?
Yeah, is it a coincidence that some of the best are using these strategies?
It's not ADD. It just goes to show that when you're curious, you know, and you're willing to try things that are, you know, a bit outside of the box, sometimes you may find some good approaches.
And
you know?
And if you're stuck in your beliefs that this is the only way, right? You're already dead. You have destroyed your chances of acquiring new knowledge, and you're stifled, man. Exactly. You're not going to progress. I'm not saying you have to be training like us, but you have to be thinking for yourself and trying out new things and being creative. Creativity is a very important thing to search out for. You have to be creative with this stuff, man. You have to think outside the box. You got to think for your damn self. Instead of looking at dogmatic people and listening to them, think for yourself and try out special things. Because back in the day, a lot of these classical lifts, they were unconventional because no one was doing them. So it took the creative genius of an individual or several individuals to try this stuff out, test it out, and see if it works. So some things have become time-tested because of the creativity of these great men. You understand? Mm-hmm. So let's do it again. How about you think for yourself and you discover what works for you and stop being so closed-minded and saying, oh, this is the only way. The moment you stop learning is the moment you die. Whatever stagnates, dies.
Last but not least, the biggest and strongest drug-free lifters had good technique and full body awareness. Now, good technique is going to vary from person to person. Not every form looks the same, you know, when people are lifting heavy weights, obviously, but full body awareness is definitely up there, because if you look at guys like Eric Bugenhagen, he's doing, you know, over 500 pounds on a Zercher deadlift, and you could clearly see that he's rounding his lower back. Yeah. So to the average lifter, they'll be like, oh, wow, well, he's going to get injured. But Eric, he has superb full body awareness, you know, and like some people say you should just round the upper back, but he's taking it to a whole new level because he has that experience, you know. That's
right. Man, and you're going to acquire this full body awareness with experience, like we mentioned before. So that's why, like, the decade thing is very important, you know. And the more you learn about yourself and how your body functions, and you acquire that lifting instinct, you develop ultra instinct. Your life is going to change forever. Let me tell you, you know, because the worst thing is to be following someone else's agenda and have no understanding of how you function. Again, you got to go back to yourself, and full body awareness is key. Knowing how to auto-regulate for yourself is key. Knowing when you're going too heavy is key. Knowing if this is too much volume is key. Knowing if this is good form is key. All this stuff is fucking key. Mm-hmm. You got to know yourself inside and out. Full body awareness, ultra goddamn instinct.
Yeah.
You know?
And also another important point is that regarding the technique is that some people have been performing certain lifts for, you know, 5-6 years, and they've been doing it the improper way. You know, you look at their squat, it's all screwed up. Their setup is terrible, and it becomes really hard to get out of these habits, you know? So think about it like that. Just because you've been training long doesn't mean you've been training properly.
Exactly. And when you actually undo those habits, you'll be surprised what you can actually achieve.
Yeah, but it takes long to undo those habits. So
yeah, that's why you got to do things right from the get-go.
Or you want to try to at least do as much as possible, you know, the right way. You know, you can hire a coach and stuff like that. But
But yeah, if you do look at Elite Naturals, their form is
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's amazing.
It's really good, and if it's not good, they've mastered that as well. You understand?
Exactly.
So if they're rounding the lower backs, you can sure as hell bet that they've done that time and time again. They've done grinders under that, and they've done awkward lifts. They've done stone lifts and stuff like that. You know, they put their bodies in uncompromising positions. So whatever type of training style you use, recognize that having full body awareness and technique and having that killer instinct in a sense is key. And we see this in all the best naturals, like we discussed before, especially Eric Bugenhagen. He's like I can't reference someone better for this. Yeah, excellent reference. Yeah. So yeah, just a quick little list of things to think about. Again, it's not like the ultimate video where we talk about all the things that naturals have in common. We're just offering you a little different perspective, you know? Make you think a little bit and question what you're seeing, you know? Pay attention to what they're doing.
Have a bit of patience. You know, I know it's a bit hard in today's day and age. You know, you want everything right now, but good things do come later on down the line as a natural. You just have to tune in for the ride, you know? Stop worrying so much about the destination. You'll start enjoying the process a lot more. You're going to be happy with the results.
And eventually you will get there, my friends. If you're pursuing this long enough and this is what you really desire, it's going to happen. Just give yourself a bit of time, all right? So we hope you enjoyed this segment. Give us your feedback down below, and we'll talk to you all next time.